All right, here they are, Broadway and Brooklyn, the two new additions to the Gargoyles line. Two of my favorite characters from the show for sure. I definitely like Brooklyn. Broadway had a couple really good episodes too that were based around him. And, you know, we almost got the whole team. All we're missing is Lexington, right? That's it. So I'm super happy I finally got these guys. Instead of splitting them up into two different videos, since I got them at the same time, I'm just gonna combo them into one video. This series of figures from NECA is easily one of my favorite things that they do nowadays. I really don't have many complaints about all the gargoyles that have come out so far. And I know next they're gonna start releasing the human characters to go along with the gargoyles. But man, oh man, I love this series even though I don't have shelf space for them. Alright, so let's take a look at Broadway first. Obviously you get the full art right here. Disney's Gargoyles Broadway. Ultimate action figure. And it's a windowed package, yes! So you can see, you know, everything inside. That's the purpose of a window if you didn't know. So there he is in all his glory, all his accessories. You know, you got the full body shot on the inside. It's still hard getting these boxes in my camera view, but this is the best I can do, okay? So there's some angry face Broadway. On the other side, you have neutral Broadway. All right, I guess he's a little frowny. I don't know, frowny face Broadway. And on the back, you got the normal sort of splurge about the gargoyles. Got some action shots with all the different accessories. And I love this part, the collect them all, the other figures in the line so far. And like I said, we have them all but Lexington. He's not released yet. So I have Goliath, I have Demona, I have Brooklyn, I have Broadway, Hudson, and Bronx. I got them all. So moving on to Brooklyn, he's one of the smaller characters, so I'm curious to see if they sort of scaled him in the right way with the other characters. I don't see why not, because I trust NECA. I trust NECA with my life, okay? So yeah, the full art right here again. Cool art. And there's the windowed packaging again. So you can see him, he's got an extra head in there, lots of different accessories, the wings in the back, and he's looking good. I love that red color. You got the full body shot right there, like always, with some cool accessories. I wish I had scenes like this to take my pictures. My pictures would be so much better if I had stuff. All right, first side, just like Broadway, you got angry face. On the other side, you have neutral face, just like Broadway. What? And on the back again, you got more shots. You got some of the, you know, production action shots right there. Collect them all down at the bottom. And that's it. That's the same box. All right, I can't get this box in frame, but it doesn't matter because we're gonna open her up. Right, first things first, let's get the tail in there before we start talking about him. So, just like the other gargoyles, right? There's a hole in his loincloth, there's a hole, you know, in the back to get that peg into. And I think we got it. Yeah, it's in there. All right, so here he is, Broadway. And just like the rest of the series, I could sound like a broken record here a little bit, but you know, NECA's sculpt work is just amazing on these figures, like just the musculature and, you know, all the details and everything on it. He does share some pieces, like these are Hudson's arms, so there is some reuse in the line. Not a whole lot. They're mostly unique sculpts, but I can't complain about slight reuse like that on $6 figures that look this good. That'd be ridiculous to complain about something like that on a figure this nice. And I think the standout for me on Broadway right here for sure is the face. The face looks so good. And it almost looks like the jaw is movable, but it's not. He does have an extra head, as we saw in the package, right? With no movable jaw. So if you want him, you know, mouth open, he's gonna be angry. And if you want him just, you know, the neutral sort of face that he had most of the time. Because he was a pretty goofy character, right? Like he was pretty funny. His key episode that I remember is the episode where he actually shot Elisa with a gun And, you know, it was sort of like a gun sort of safety episode, you know what I mean? And, you know, it would be nice if he had a little gun in the package, a nod to that episode. Because that was the big episode where, you know, he actually accidentally shot her. Obviously felt guilty about it and everything, and tried to make it better, but didn't succeed. But he was definitely a big part of the crew, right? Like, we almost have a complete set of the crew, like I'm saying. Just Lexington is missing. And then we have the whole crew. And he's a worthy part of the crew for sure. Again, looking at the sculpt work and the paint job too, I really like the blue, how they matched it, you know, with the show, because he's definitely lighter than Bronx, right? But he's not the same blue as Demona either. Like, they did a really good job on all the details, painting, you know, the shading on the muscles around, even on his big old belly button, you know. Like, he's just another one that I really have no complaints about. When his tail gets in there, right, you can use the tail as a sort of stand if you have problems standing them up. And obviously we'll look at the wings when we look at the accessories, because that's, you know, the big showcase piece on the Gargoyles figures. Articulation is about the same as the other Gargoyles, so there's no butterfly joint, but, you know, it's got the bicep turn, it's got this, goes up, you know, about that, can go around in a circle for the most part. The hands go forward and backwards. Obviously there's different hands and stuff we'll look at, but there is double elbows. Typically the Gargoyles have the double elbows and the single knees, and obviously they do the single knees probably for a visual reason, because when you're looking straight on this, you hardly even see the joint. Like, it looks really good, right? But obviously there's a joint there, so it's not going to go very far back or anything like that. But, you know, he does have the huge honking gargoyle feet, you know. The toe goes up too, so you can stand him on his feet flat like that, or, you know, put him like that, which looks pretty good too. And opening these figures, I always talk about sort of, you know, the modernization of them, meaning they're taking this old, not very detailed cartoon and bringing it into the real world setting, and you know, their loincloths and their belt buckles and stuff really match that setting for sure, but also look, you know, completely believable as a real world object, you know? So, I mean, I really don't have any complaints about the sculpt here, the paint job, you know, any of the updates or anything. Like, this is definitely, I mean, if you know Gargoyles, you know who this is when you see him. Like, this is pretty cool. I love the shading. If you look at him in the right angle, he sort of looks like an overweight, I don't know, gothed out Panthro from Thundercats. So first accessory we'll look at is the alternate head. So, you know, just pops off, ball at the top. Let's see if we can pop that in there. I think it's in there. All right, and there we go. Angry Broadway. And typically all the Gargoyles, when they get angry, their eyes turn white like that. So they all have sort of alternate heads, as far as I can remember, maybe not, with a sort of an angry face and the white eyes. And I definitely like that look for him, right? Like, he didn't get mad often. He was sort of the goofy, sort of happy-go-lucky, always eating. That's his thing, is he's always eating. Gargoyle, but, you know, he had his moments where he got mad. And the sculpt work, the paint job, inside the mouth especially, you know, he's got the teeth, he's got the dark gums in there, even his, you know, tongue. His tongue is not just one solid color, it's got that, you know, red color with the dark black, you know, overtones on it too. And details like that make me happy. They turn me from this into this. Slightly happy, but still looks a little grumpy. That's me in real life. Alright, so he comes with some weapons like the other Gargoyles. Some of the other Gargoyles come with weapons, most of them don't so far. Hudson came with a sword and stuff, but so there's been some. But here's a big old mace, and again, the sculpt work on this is pretty amazing. It's got, you know, damage on it. It's got a, you know, a woven handle right there with a cloth wrapped around it, and the paint job on it, it's got a dark wash on it and everything. The rest of it is made to look like, you know, semi-metallic but worn, and it fits that aesthetic beautifully. It's a really solid piece too. Like, this is pretty cool. This is pretty impressive. It definitely matches the aesthetic of everything else so far. So I dig this. Don't poke your eye out, kids. And he even comes with another weapon. He can dual wield. He's got this axe right here. And again, I love the sculpted details and just the paint job. The paint job really makes it look like old worn metal. And, you know, I mean, it looks so good. And of course, like I alluded to earlier, if you've seen the show, you know Mr. Broadway loves to eat. So here's his famous chicken leg, turkey leg, I don't know, chicken leg from one of the episodes. And popcorn. He did enjoy his popcorn quite a lot too. So he's even got a popcorn can. Because, you know, 24/7 he was always eating. So obviously they had to include some sort of food. He also comes with a piece of broccoli. Just kidding. I think this is a piece of moss or something. In one of the early episodes, I think he ate this at some point. So this is another food thing. I'm not 100% sure. But if I'm remembering right, that's what it is. If you know closer to what this is in the comments, let me know below. And I just noticed something about the weapons too. They actually go together like this, which I didn't quite know before. So it's sort of double-sided. See if my camera will focus. So it's this huge double-sided piece with the axe on one end and the mace on the other. This is ballin' right here. This is pretty cool. This is, I totally dig this. All right, and like always, some replacement hands. 2 of them are punchy hands, and it's kind of weird. The other 2 actually don't match. So one's a tighter grip, and this is obviously for the weapon, and this is a bigger grip. This has to be for the popcorn box, I'm pretty sure, because the hands he has on are, you know, just open like claw hands. So that's got to be the popcorn box hand right there. And then again, the reason you're buying gargoyles is to lose shelf space. So he does come with wings, just like the rest of the gargoyles, and obviously they're just as good. It's a unique sculpt as far as I can tell. It's got the 2-tone color, so it's that darker on the back color, and then lighter on the front, that light green right here. It works super well with this light blue. Like, I think it matches very well. So we'll get the wings on him, and we'll take a peek real quick. And then we got him with the wings. I love the aesthetic of this. Obviously, I'm losing more shelf space, like I keep saying, but you know, the wings are why you buy this. And I know a lot of the human characters coming out soon are gonna have folded wings for some of the other gargoyles. I do have Goliath at this point, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know. I don't know who's next folded wing department, but I know they are making more folded wing. And I forgot to talk, I'm jumping around a lot. I'm so excited about these. I forgot to talk about chest articulation. I did want to mention that. So it does go around like that, and the belly actually goes around too. So it's got 2 points of articulation on the chest. And honestly, again, I don't think I change anything about this figure. Like, I think it's a really good representation of gargoyles going from an old 2D cartoon to, you know, a 3D semi-realistic, semi-modernized version of it. I think the sculpt work is good, the colors are good. I mean, I really don't have any complaints about him. The head movement is all good. All his joints move good. I don't know. This is Broadway. Brooklyn's turn to be released from his stone prison. Right, just like Broadway, first thing we're gonna do with Brooklyn is get his tail in there. So again, the hole in the back, aim it in there right. Oh yeah, that was easy. Tail is in, tail is good. These bendy tails, I haven't really talked about them much, but you know, they're bendy tails. They're great. I don't know what else to say. But looking at the figure, he's out of the box. He's definitely much slender. Much more slender than, you know, if you compare the two right here to Broadway, like obviously you could tell the difference, right? And so I feel that this matches the show very well, because he was definitely the most slender and the smallest, other than Lexington. Lexington was obviously the smallest. But, you know, we'll see a comparison shot at the end of the video. I'll line him up with Goliath and everything, but he's definitely shorter than Goliath. I think she's even a little bit shorter than Demona too. But we'll see that at the end. But anyways, so going to, you know, again, the sculpt work, this must be a unique sculpt because none of the other gargoyles are this small. And just look at all the details in the muscles, the veins popping out and everything. Like, man, oh man. The color and the shade work, it's a little darker than I would imagine in my head, I think. Maybe the show I'm remembering as a little more bright red. But again, this looks like a grungy sort of version of an old cartoon, which is exactly what this line is supposed to be. This is exactly what this line is doing. And so I have really no complaints about, the sculpt work, the paint job. The tail looks perfect coming out there. I love even the little rips in the loincloth and everything. Little details like that, man. You can't buy those. Well, I guess you can buy those. $36.99. You can buy them right here. But I mean, he's definitely a unique gargoyle. He definitely looks different than most gargoyles, especially obvious in the face, right? So he's got the signature beak on him. He's got the big old ears. He's got the horns up top. Everything looks really good. He's got some nice shading on there, dark, and it goes to sort of lighter as the horn goes right there. His default head does have an articulated jaw, so you can obviously bring the jaw down. And again, the details inside, right? The color scheme, how it's not just one solid color. There's some shading even in the mouth. Man, NECA goes the extra mile, and I love it. The only thing that looks odd to me, if you ask me, is his eyes. He's looking up, right? So I think you're supposed to tilt the head down like this. So he's looking at you. But I mean, naturally, you probably sort of want to put him like this, right? And then if you look straight, he's looking up in the air. So, I mean, it looks kind of odd, I guess. Maybe not really. I mean, once you pose him, he's going to be posed. So you can make him look forward. You just got to, put his head down quite a lot. But if you want him up here, yelling or something, then he's going to just be looking to the sky. Look to the sky, partner. And that brings me to the hair too. Obviously, the hair is a solid piece. It's not, real hair, obviously. And it's hard plastic, right? So you really can't make him look up very much, if that makes sense. Because the hair gets stopped at the back, right? So, there's definitely some little things about Mr. Brooklyn here that are a little odd, or not odd. I don't know how they could have done that otherwise, but there's just some quirks about the head. This hair is definitely going to get in the way for sure. And he does come with an alternate head. So alternate head right here, obviously it's the angry head with the white eyes. The thing about the angry head though is the jaw doesn't articulate. So, the default head in there articulates. The angry face does not articulate. I don't know why you would need it to though, because obviously. So this might be the head I keep on it just to avoid the eye problem from this first one. But that's his angry head on the body. And obviously, like I said, there's no pupils there. So you don't have that problem. He can look, any sort of which direction. And I definitely dig this head for sure. I want to make sure it's in there. You'll have the same problem here with the hair though, right? So there's not a lot of hair movement. I know Hudson was the same because his hair was hard too. So there wasn't a lot of Hudson hair movement. So you're going to get the same thing right here. Right, just like Broadway, he does come with a weapon. And this looks like a sphere, like a lance, I guess. So he's a lancer. This looks pretty cool. I think he holds it down here. And it's, like a javelin, like a spear. And again, the details on it are very nice. The sculpt details, especially on the hand guard right here. It's all sculpted in there. It's got wear and tear. All the metals, painted to look like actual metal. I definitely love the weapons that come with these two figures for sure. This is another good one. He comes with a page, a ripped out page. I believe this is from the Grimorum Arcanorum. I think that was the name of it. Maybe. But it looks good, and it's double-sided, so it's not just one-sided. So it does have the sculpted on letters, but it also has a good wash job inside, so it actually looks like real letters. It's all worn, it's all weathered, and of course he comes with his signature shades. His signature motorcycle shades. They look just like the show. They were that same dark blue. That's why they're not transparent. In the show, they were like aviators, like that, darkish blue color. So I'll put them on his head in just a second. But this is straight from, one of his key moments in the early episodes where he, was riding the motorcycle. Right, and they go on his head. They do fit right behind his ears. And, if you had the head down like that, like you normally would with this head, because the pupils in the eyes, he's looking he's looking down. So you want to move this up so he looks straight, but he definitely looks good in them, you know? Whenever he had these in the show, he also had, you know, like a biker clothes on, like a jacket and stuff like that. So it's kind of out of place, I guess, just like this from what I can remember. But it's still cool. It's still one of his signature accessories because, you know, he had the shades on when he went cruising, when he joined the Hells Angels. So same thing as Broadway, comes with 4 hands, so 2 just punching hands, and these 2 again are not symmetrical. One of them is for the lance, the sphere for sure, and then one of them is probably to hold the page, the page from the Grimorum, because you know he's pinching it and it's pretty thin, so it's definitely what that hand is for sure. So comes with 4 hands, just like his brethren. His wings were very unique. He had these, you know, straight sort of, you know, pointy wings, I guess you could say. It doesn't have that fold in the middle like the other gargoyles. So this is definitely a unique sculpt. You know, the texture on here, it's even two-toned on this side. You can see some lighter parts in there, some lighter, like, I don't know, light orange with the dark red. Looks really good. The other side is, you know, the normal gargoyles, you know, dark color here. And these wings are gonna take up a lot of space. That's all I gotta say, but they are unique to him, right? So these are definitely his wings for sure from the show. So it's probably easier to put these wings on with the head removed. I'm just turning it to the side because I wanted to sort of show you how it goes. But I would definitely take the head off first to do these wings rather than just moving it aside. Anyways, all right, so he's got his wings on. The hair obviously will hit the wings a little bit in the back. So maybe that's why he does look down naturally, because I didn't realize that when I was talking about it earlier, but with the wings on there, obviously you have less sort of movement on the head to look up, if that makes sense. So he is always naturally, yes, looking down a little bit. So now the pupils make sense. He is looking straight. You just always are gonna have the head pointed down a little bit. So, you know, whether you think that's good or bad, that's up to you. But with the wings, man, he's looking good. He's looking good. I definitely dig this figure for sure. I love the red coloring. I love the sculpt work, the paint job. I love how he's pretty much a unique sculpt according to the others, and he looks just like I would imagine from the show. Like if the show was in real life, this is almost just what I would imagine Brooklyn to look like. All right, there's literally almost no way I can get all 3 of these in the same shot, but at least you can see them compared to Goliath. So obviously Goliath is definitely the tallest. You know, Broadway's a little bit shorter than that, and then Brooklyn's even a little bit shorter than that. So, you know, in case you want to know exact measurements, so you can start measuring out your shelves. So Broadway is about 7 to the top of his ears, about 7 inches. And it looks like Brooklyn is about 7 to the top of his horns too. But obviously, height doesn't mean a thing with the gargoyles. You need wingspan. So I've been measuring wingspan when I open these too. So let's check out Broadway here. So you're looking at about 17 inches wingspan on Broadway. And Brooklyn's gonna be much harder because I have him way in the back. He's about 21 inches across, and that's just a neutral wing position, right? So if you do tilt the wings up, they'll take up less space, or down or back or something like that, obviously. But that's the wingspan. Like the wingspans are what you got to keep in mind with these figures for sure. But that's at least how they compare to Goliath. So if you have Goliath already, I do have his folded wings. I do have Bronx. Right, that's the 2 newest gargoyles for the line, Broadway and Brooklyn. Like I said, we're only missing Lexington, and then we have sort of the core crew. And I couldn't be happier with these figures. They're absolutely 100% not 100% perfect, but they're so close, and they're so good for what they're meant to be. The value that you get with these guys, oh man, I totally dig the series. If you have the shelf space for them, then keep going. Keep going. I love the series. And guys, gals, non-binary pals, please don't forget, if you do like these videos, please subscribe below and hit the like button down there just to keep me motivated to keep doing videos. I like to do these a little bit different. I like to put pictures of the source material and stuff like that on them rather than just looking at the figures. So if you do like that, let me know down below and let me know how you like the Gargoyles series. I really love it. Do want more folded capes at this point. I am running out of space already. So anyways, thanks for watching. Peace out. Enjoy your plastic.